There's something about driving alone at night that always unsettled me. Maybe it's the way the darkness swallows everything outside the glow of your headlights. Maybe it's that feeling of isolation, the realization that out there no one would hear you if something went wrong. I never used to think about it much. Until I had these 3 experiences. 3 nights that made me believe that the road has a memory, and sometimes it remembers you too. So let me tell you what happened. It was about 1:15 in the morning when I left work. I'd picked up a double shift so the streets were empty. The only light came from flickering street lamps and the occasional passing truck. I always take the same route home, a 2-lane road that cuts through an industrial district and then merges into a stretch of forest. It saves me about 10 minutes. That night, halfway through the forest road, I noticed something strange in my rearview mirror. At first, I thought it was a trick of the shadows, maybe the reflection of my own jacket or the way the light caught the back seat. But then, it moved. Not with the rhythm of the car, not with the light. It moved independently. I tried to ignore it, but every few minutes my eyes would drift back up to that mirror. And each time I'd swear I saw a shape, a faint outline of a head. When I finally pulled up to a red light at the end of the forest, I decided to check. I turned on the dome light, nothing. Just my empty back seat. I laughed, brushed it off, and started driving again. But as soon as I turned the light off, I heard something, breathing, slow, wet, coming from directly behind me. I didn't dare look. I just kept driving, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Then out of the corner of my eye in the reflection of the side mirror, I saw her, a woman's face, pale, soaked, eyes wide open, sitting in the back seat staring at me. I slammed on the brakes and jumped out of the car. Rain poured down as I circled around, ripped open the back door, but no one was there. I was shaking so hard I could barely breathe. I drove home with every light on, windows fogged, heart pounding. When I got home, I left the car running under the porch light. That's when I noticed something on the back window, a handprint, small, feminine, pressed into the glass from the inside. I didn't sleep that night. A few days later, I told a coworker about it, and his face went pale. He told me about a woman who had gone missing along that same road 5 years ago, found drowned in the creek a few miles from where I saw her. They say she hitchhiked home that night, but never made it. I never take that shortcut anymore. A few months after that, I was driving home from my cousin's house, about a 2-hour trip through mostly empty countryside. It was late, and I wanted to get home faster, so I followed my GPS when it suggested a new shortcut through a side road I'd never seen before. At first, it looked fine. Narrow but paved. I figured it was just a newer route. But after a few miles, the pavement turned to gravel and my GPS started glitching. The voice would repeat itself, stutter, or say random things like, "Turn left. In 300 feet. 200 feet, error." I tried turning back, but every time I looked behind me, it was just darkness. No lights, no signs, no road markers. Then I saw something that made my stomach drop, the same tree. Perfectly round trunk, missing bark on one side. I passed it once. Then again. Then again. I was looping. I slowed down, rolled down the window, and shouted into the dark. The sound just vanished, like the air swallowed it whole. Then my GPS lit up on its own. The voice came back, distorted. "Turn left. Now." Without thinking, I did. My headlights swept across the trees, and for half a second I saw someone standing in the middle of the path. A man, still. Facing away from me, I slammed the brakes. My car skidded to a stop. He didn't move. Then he slowly turned his head toward me. Not his body, just his head. And smiled. His eyes reflected light like an animal's. I floored it. Drove until the GPS shut off and the road finally opened up again onto the highway. When I looked back, there was nothing but an open field. The next day, I tried to find that road on Google Maps. Nothing. Not even a dirt path. Later, I found out something chilling. 10 years ago, there was a rural road there. Before it was closed after a fatal pileup killed 4 people. The road was removed. Completely. But my GPS shouldn't have known that. To this day, I still don't know what would have happened if I hadn't turned when that voice told me to. It was a Friday night. I'd just left a friend's place after a small get-together. It wasn't too late, maybe around midnight, but the streets were empty. Halfway home, I saw her, a young woman in a white dress standing on the shoulder of the road with her thumb out. Her hair was damp, her skin pale under the moonlight. She looked desperate. I pulled over and rolled down the window. She said her car had broken down just a mile back and asked if I could take her home. Something in her voice, soft, polite, almost trembling, made me say yes. She climbed into the back seat quietly. The whole time she stared out the window. After a few minutes, I tried to break the silence. "Rough night, huh?" She didn't answer. All she said in a whisper was, "It's colder than I remember." I felt uneasy. My gut told me something was off, but I kept driving. After about 15 minutes, she spoke again. "Turn left, up near the old bridge." As we approached, fog rolled in thick and heavy. The bridge came into view, an old rusted metal thing over a shallow river. I glanced at the mirror to ask which house was hers. But the back seat was empty. My blood turned to ice. I jumped out, looked around, nothing. Then, in the fog, I saw something glinting near the bridge. I walked closer and realized it was a car upside down in the riverbed, rusted, half buried in mud. There were flowers and candles nearby, a memorial. A chill ran through me. I looked down at the mud and saw faint bare footprints leading from the bridge, straight toward my car. When I told the police later, they said the girl I described matched someone who died in that crash 3 years ago. She'd been driving home from a party. Every anniversary, people claim to see her walking the road, still trying to find a way home. Sometimes, when I drive that same stretch of highway, my back seat light flickers on by itself, and every single time I whisper, "It's okay. You're home now." 3 nights. 3 drives I'll never forget. You never think the road is dangerous until you realize it's not the crashes or the weather that you should fear. It's what's already waiting for you out there. So next time you're driving alone, check your mirrors. Keep your doors locked. And if your GPS ever tries to take you somewhere that isn't on the map, don't follow. Thanks for listening to Shadow Archives. If this story gave you chills, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who drives alone at night. You never know who might pick up a passenger they can't drop off.